Hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So, the Lord has been dealing with me a lot lately about mixture and listening to the right voices, listening to the right tone, and knowing His voice clearly. I've been going through a season, I think, of retuning. The Lord has been heightening my senses, and even He's really telling me to be very careful to the voices, the sounds, and the things that I listen to, even in the worship music that I listen to, even in the artists that I follow, the things that I lend my ears to, even those things that seem godly and good, but that are not going to be beneficial to my walk with the Lord. They're not going to help me achieve my purpose and walk in my calling. And I just feel like there's a lot of mixturing, a lot of confusion right now. A lot of people are having a hard time discerning the voice of the Lord. And the Lord was taking me to Deuteronomy 28. He says, if you hearken diligently to the voice of the Lord thy God, as I have commanded you this day. Well, what will happen if you hearken diligently to His voice? He will bless your home. He will bless your finances. He will bless your children. He will cause everything that you put your hand to prosper. That you will be above and not beneath. That you will be a lender and not a borrower. That He will set you as a blessing. Not just to receive blessing, but He will make you a blessing. And in the same way, it says that if you do not hearken unto His voice, that He will cause everything that you do to become a curse, and everything you try to do to dry up and to be cursed. So I guess the big issue is not that people don't want to necessarily do what God is telling them to do, but the big issue is that people don't understand what God is telling them to do because they don't spend enough time at His feet and in His Word. You know, many people are hearkening to the voice of thy sister-in-law, hearkening to the voice of thy CNN, CBS, ABC, MSNBC, hearkening to thy voice of thy friend, thy girlfriend, you know, thy boyfriend, thy husband, thy sister, thy mom, thy dad, you know, thy best friend, thy co-worker, thy fear of change inside, thy fear of messing things up because perhaps you are going through a season of transition and the Lord is pruning you in some areas. And it's so important to know and to discern who you are listening to. Who have you been hearkening to? Are you asking everyone and everyone to give you an opinion as to what God is saying to you? I'm not saying that it's bad to ask for help and for counsel, but I think that we can definitely hear from God if we're willing to wait on Him. We'll wait and wait and wait until we hear, and we don't move from that place until we hear. You know, because I have found over the years there is no shortcut. I'm sorry, there's no formula. There's no 5-step program of do this, do that, play this song, play this one other song. You know, twirl 5 times. You know, touch your nose, touch your head at the same time, stand on your head, and then the anointing will fall. What? There is no such thing as trying to trick God into doing things for you. If you do these 3 things in these 3 ways, and then He will answer you just like He did last time. And many times we fall into rituals, trying to refabricate something that God did at another time. And I think this is a good reason why many times when we go to church, we love to hear a specific song. We love to hear this song. And we say, oh, this is my song. Play this song. It's so anointed. And it's not the song that you're in love with. What you're in love with is the experience, the thing, the place that God took you to one time when you were listening to that song. Because many times you'll find, oh, I'm going to go home and I'm going to play this song. And oh, the anointing will fall and it will be amazing. And then again, you play it again and it's like, I don't feel it like I did the first 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And it's because you are not hearkening to the voice of the Lord thy God. You are hearkening to the voice of, hey, I want to listen to this song because I know God is going to show up if I listen to this song. And I'm not saying that, necessarily that's a bad thing that you would like a specific song, but you need to be more concerned with seeking his face and seeking a shortcut to get him to do what you want. Because he will not be strong-armed into doing your will and into doing what you want him to just because it feels good to you. And it's important that we stop hearkening to the voice of the Lord, thy feelings. Many times I think the strongest one is, oh, I don't feel like it. Well, I just don't have a good feeling about it. And we need to discern, hey, is it your feelings because you're afraid to step out into the familiar, into the unfamiliar because you are too comfortable with the familiar and you don't want to take that next step of faith? You don't want to go step off the boat and do what Jesus told you to? Or is it that perhaps the Lord has been pruning you and now you're in a place of uneasiness, not knowing exactly where he's taking you? He's just kind of leading you in the dark, telling you, hey, step, and you're not seeing anything. You're saying, Lord, I am stepping, but literally I feel like I am blindfolded, like I don't see where I'm going. And several years ago, I think about 2 years ago, the Lord took me through a period of that. Of not knowing where I was going, of not knowing where he was leading me. And it was scary. It was scary because I'm a very visual, very auditory person. That's why I like to do prophetic things, prophetic acts, prophetic stuff. And then I also sing and prophesy in that way. Because I'm a very visual and I'm a very auditory person. The Lord speaks to me through signs, and the Lord speaks to me through sounds and through things in nature. And I wasn't seeing anything. I wasn't hearing anything. And I was terrified and I didn't know. I said, God, have I sinned? Have I fallen into this? Have I fallen into that? Have I been listening to the wrong voice? And one time I'm just sitting there. One day I was just so desperate to know. And then the Lord showed me this vision. And I saw myself, I was walking in this dark room. And I heard his voice. He said, come here. And I started stepping forward. And I could see the back of him. I could see his robe. It was glowing. But then I could just see every time he would take a step, like the ground would light up. So I knew that I had to take that same step. I had to step in the exact same place where he was lighting, where the step was lit. Because I literally didn't know, was there ground? Was there not ground? I could not see it. It was the darkest dark I have ever seen. And I remember that the more that I began to step in that darkness, and even though I would try to look around me, there was nothing that I could see. So I just kept focused ahead of him. And then every now and then I would take a step and I would look forward and he was still there. And then all of a sudden light would come on and I was someplace and he would tell me to go talk to someone, and I would go talk to them, pray with them or minister to them for a little bit. And then all of a sudden things would get dark again. And I knew I had to run back to where he was because otherwise I was going to get lost in the dark. And so I would run right back next to him. And then he would turn around again and keep walking. And that happened several times. I don't know how long it happened for. But I remember that I looked forward and I noticed something. I started noticing things about him that I had forgotten about. I started looking at him and I was noticing, wow, there's a little bit of golden in his hair. And I had not noticed that about his robe. And then that's when I understood that I had grown so weary in doing things for people, in doing good works, ministry, that I had neglected my own time of really. I wouldn't say that I wasn't praying, because I was praying, but I was growing weary in well doing. I really, really was. I was loving people. I was doing everything that I was supposed to be doing according to my position at the time as an assistant pastor. And I had neglected myself because I had been spending so much time trying to get a word for someone else that I had neglected my time with him. I had stopped looking for a word for me because I was so busy running here and there and fro, trying to fix everybody else's problems and give them an answer, and And I don't know where you are today with the Lord. I don't know if perhaps you're feeling confused. There's too many voices going on. And I was scrolling through Facebook the other day, and I stopped. Suddenly I said, whoa, something caught my attention. It was this picture. There was like 4 or 5 different phones, and there was a red phone in the middle. And I feel like the Lord was saying, whose voice are you going to listen to? Be careful to listen to my voice and my voice alone. And I was like, wow. It's so true, because so many times we want to hear his voice, but we allow what everybody else is saying, even sometimes other prophetic voices, to dictate what we're gonna do, what we're gonna listen to. And we need to be so careful of not just listening to everything and everyone, or even our own feelings. Many times we base our decisions on feelings, and we don't base them on what the Lord is saying, because we have not taken the time to hear what he's saying. We're always running, trying to do things for everyone else. And it's like in the Song of Solomon, you're so busy running, trying to get your answers, that you finally are tired, you close your door, you shut the door on your beloved, and he's knocking. He's knocking on your door. He's knocking on your door. Open the door. And you have all these excuses. Well, I took off my shoes already. Well, I already took off my robe. I am ready for bed. And he's knocking. Open to me, my sister, my bride. And you are not. And you are not. Why? Because you're so busy doing things and resting after being burnt out from ministering to everybody else. That when he comes to you with his love, you're not listening, because you thought that 5 minutes in your car on the way to work, wow, you spent an hour and a half trying to get a word for somebody else, was going to do for you, and it's not. You can't give away what you don't have. So I just want to encourage you today. Hearken to his voice. Not the voice of your feelings, not the voice of people. Hearken to his voice and his voice alone. And you will know. His voice is not going to bring you confusion. His voice is not going to bring you dread. His voice is not going to bring you fear. Perhaps it might feel a little scary when he's asking you to do something that is unfamiliar, but it's not going to be a kind of oh no, terrifying, that I'm in danger kind of fear. No. It's going to be a little bit of excitement and a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling when he asks you to take a step of faith. But he will never lead you into failure. And another thing, I used to think that God worked through open doors. And I was like, oh, God works through open doors. What works through open doors? What do you do when 5 doors open all at once? Which one is the Lord? Well, hearken diligently to the voice of the Lord thy God. Spend time in that secret place and he will show you. He will show you, because not everything that seems good is God. Good and God are 2 different things. So I just want to encourage you today. Don't grow weary. Seek his face so that you can have something to give away. You can't give what you have not received in the secret place. He will mold you. He will furnish you first before he will send you out to pray, to minister, to do anything for anyone else. Make sure you take care of your garden before you go out and try to tend somebody else's garden. Okay? God bless you.